I got hit by a car and it's one of the best things that has ever happened to me. It's September 1st, 2022. I am living in LA and I'm parked on a residential street in Los Angeles, right in Hollywood, on a very wide street for LA. I don't know if you've ever been there, but a lot of the streets are narrow, and this just happened to be a surprisingly wide street. I remember thinking to myself when I parked, like, wow, this is a pretty wide street. I should be fine to park here, you know, because in the past, I've had friends where they've gotten their mirrors knocked off, they've gotten sideswiped, people just drive off, and you just walk up to your car and you're like, what the hell happened? I don't know. So it was just always something in the back of my mind. And I parked as close as I could to the curb. There's probably this much room between me and the curb. And I needed to get a few things out of my car. And so my driver's side is facing the street. And I needed to get something out of the back. And so I went to the driver's side passenger door and I opened it to grab a few things. But even though I was so close to the curb and the street was wide, I wanted to make sure that my car door wasn't sticking out. And so I overcorrected and I put my shins right up against the door frame and I put the car door right up against my back. So there was no room between me and the car at all. And there was a very small opening between the door and the door frame. You know, I was just right up against it. And so all of a sudden, I'm about to reach myself up to get out of the car, and my forehead just is coming into line with the door frame. So I'm coming up, and all of a sudden, boom, I get hit by a car. I'm like, what? It was so shocking. I get pushed forward. It wasn't very hard, but it was an impact because it, as you can see, it made like a curve, like it dented my car door and made it to where I couldn't even close my car door. But I hit my head on the door frame going in, and my shins, just got that nice impact from it. And yeah, she ran into me in my car door. Thankfully, I didn't sustain any injuries other than my back hurting and getting some bruising, but I could walk and I was still alive. And that was miraculous. And so, yeah, I remember actually, my best friend was the first person I could get a hold of, and she said, oh my God, you could have died. And I didn't realize that at that time. I was just in a bit of shock that it even happened. But yeah, the timing of it was crazy because, so that was September 1st. And in August, I had this very strong intuitive download, which I talked about in a previous video, where I knew I needed to work with this life coach that I met online through my mutual friend. And her name is Alex, but it's wild how we have this mutual friend. Like, just the way in which the world works is incredible. And yeah, I had no idea how I was going to pay for her. I was working at Amazon Flex, barely making any money, living in LA, you know how that rent is. And yeah, not having a savings and living paycheck to paycheck, barely making ends meet. So I was already thinking, what the hell am I doing, and how am I going to pay for this? Also, to add on to that, I was even seemingly crazier by finding out a week later that she was hosting a retreat in Colombia with her friend, where it was all going to be about inner work and healing. And I had this really strong intuition that I needed to go to that retreat. I just knew I needed to be there. Like, it felt inevitable. But at the same time, I had no idea how that was even going to be possible. I thought, what? Like, what do you mean I need to go to this retreat? That seems self-indulgent. My mind was like, I don't know how we're gonna do this. Like, this is really absurd. And I tried to talk myself out of it, but my partner at the time was very encouraging. Even though we both didn't know how it was going to be possible, he just said, I trust your intuition. You need to go. We'll figure it out. And so, so that trip though was on September 8th. And so I got hit on September 1st, and there was so much running in my head. I had a lot going on that year. That year was 2022 was a catalyst year, a life-changing year, where in February of that year, I lost my grandma, and she was a mother to me, and it was life-wrecking. I never thought I was going to recover from it. And yeah, I just started seeing ways in which she was guiding me in my life. And August, like, it really started picking up, which is interesting because her birthday was in August. So there was like some synchronicities with that. But yeah, from 2020 to 22, I was, there's just those times in life where you're just experiencing everything awful, like devastating news after devastating news. And I was experiencing that without even the pandemic. So besides the pandemic, things were going to shit. And I was just having such a rough time, especially health-wise. So yeah, this event, for me, even though it was seemingly bad and unfortunate, like, it had so much meaning and impact. But I remember, because all of that stuff, bad stuff had happened to me, and I was just going through one thing after another, in order to like be able to make it to another day, I was like, I need to work on my mindset and really just start accepting things as they are. And so I remember when that thing happened, when the accident happened and she hit me, I felt oddly calm. And that was new for me, because if it had happened in the past, I would have freaked out and had a panic attack and thought, like, everything is over. I'm gonna have to quit seeing Alex, but I'm in a contract with her, and I already booked everything for this Colombia retreat. And the logistics of it were really stressful because I thought, I'm leaving for Colombia in a week. I'm gonna be out of the country. My car door won't shut. So that is not very safe in terms of people just being able to have access to my car. I don't know how I'm gonna get into the shop because I won't be able to pick it up or deal with it. I won't be able to talk to insurance agents when I'm out of the country. I wanna be present while I'm there, and there's so much going on when I'm on the trip. And I also thought, I need to work every day. Like, me even going on this trip is insane and missing work. I need to work every day as much as I possibly can, but I can't close my car door. And I needed my car to do Amazon Flex deliveries, because you deliver from your car. So this had so many different factors to it that felt anxiety producing. And yeah, I just decided to trust and know that it was just gonna be figured out. Like, it was already happening. There was nothing that I could do. And I trusted that it was happening for a reason. And so, yeah, it was just a wild moment experience for me because, yeah, I was in pain trying to figure out how I was going to get connected to a chiropractor, but I got on the phone with the insurance agent. her insurance agent, and we had a really cool connection where I feel like in part there was an openness between us because I was just really accepting of it. Like I wasn't, coming at him or her, and I just was, being a human being with him, and he was receptive to me and did what he could to get me money, and the most money that he possibly could, which was wild to me because it didn't even occur to me that I could receive money from this experience. I had never had anything like this happen to me where I was part of getting hit by a car. And I was technically hit by a car because of the way that it happened. I just thought maybe they were gonna fix my door and that was gonna be it. So this came as a complete shock to me. And he was able to get me more money than I'd ever had at one time in my life. It was wild to get the check and then go and put it in my bank. I remember driving with my partner at the time, and we were just both in shock. So then it ended up being that I could pay for all of my coaching for the Colombia trip, and then having way more on top of that. And I was experiencing a lot of health issues during that time and that past few years. So it really helped me in a big way to get back on track with my health. And I'd been hospitalized a bunch of times in 2020. So it just was a huge, huge help to us. And I just would have never imagined that something that seemed that shitty could have such amazing experiences unfold from it. Like the domino effect was really cool because I went on that Colombia retreat, and most of the people were from Austin because Alex lives in Austin. And they were just telling me that I should move to Austin, and I didn't think it was possible because my partner at the time, he's an actor, and so I thought I have to live in LA, even though I had visited Austin in 2021 because my mom lives in Texas. And I just had this really strong intuition that I was going to move there, but it didn't make any sense to me at all because I thought, I can't, I have to be here, even though I don't want to be. But then after that trip, I received all these synchronicities about moving here, and then I did. And and now I've met my now partner and my closest friends, and so many life-changing experiences have happened since I've moved here. And so I just really see how, that domino effect of like something that seemed really messed up at the time and unfortunate. Like no one wants to get in an accident, but it, beauty came from it. A couple of things that I learned from this experience are that one, unfortunate or seemingly unfortunate or bad situations actually can be meaningful and can be a part of you creating something beautiful. And then two, your reaction to the experience and to the challenge and the conflict has a huge impact. Not only just on how the experience unfolds, but also just on your well-being. And it's not an easy thing to do, but when I've been able to trust and accept and surrender to things that are not going the way that my mind is imagining will be good or beneficial, I have been able to just find like this peace within inside of myself, and I can tell how much it's had an impact on my health. And 3, which is similar to 2, is that everything is happening for you. This has been something that's been challenging for me and something that I have to constantly bring myself back to, because my mind always wants to be in that place of, protection. And when we are mentally convinced that something is happening for our detriment, it blocks us off from being able to see the bigger picture. And yeah, I just could have imagined that I could have thought that that was the worst thing ever to have happened, and that could have canceled everything and not gone on the trip and not met the people and not have been encouraged to move and not had met Alex or not had worked with Alex and had the healing experiences that I did. And yeah, it just would have changed the entire trajectory of my life. But I do believe that everything happens for a reason. And yeah, so I think remembering that everything is happening for you, everything happens for a reason. And yeah, it's helped bring so much meaning for me in my life. And yeah, it's one of like my greatest wishes is, I've spent so much of my life being resentful of my experiences, the way that things were unfolding. And the more that I've just learned to trust and surrender, like I've been able to see the magic and the beauty of all of it. Something that I've also tried to reflect on too when I feel very when I feel upset about things that have happened to me in the past, I've tried to retrace my steps back to see the bigger picture of, well, what happened after that? And if that one thing didn't happen, then possibly you wouldn't, or like that one thing didn't happen, you wouldn't be exactly where you are. And even if where you are right now doesn't feel so great, there are many beautiful things, I imagine. There are beautiful things that have happened in the in-between, and also things that you have not experienced yet that will happen, from just accepting and knowing that every piece of your life and experience and existence has meaning. So if you like this video and you want to learn more about listening to your soul guides, and you want to learn more about listening to your intuition, to your soul guides, and to trusting your path, please subscribe. I'll be posting a video every Sunday.